How'd you get it?
I bought it on the classifieds.
Oh, I love it.
Welcome back to part 2 of fixing the $200 Honda Metropolitan Scooter. In part 1, we cleaned the gas tank, cleaned the carb, and made sure the fuel delivery system was working. We got the scooter to start and run, but it would not idle on its own, so I concluded that we needed to buy a new carburetor. I found an aftermarket carb for about $70 and I ordered it up. The new carb looks great. It looks identical to the original carb, and it even has the same electrical connectors for the throttle position sensor and what I believe is an electronic choke. So everything is perfect. It has all the same outlets and everything looks identical. The inlet and outlet are the same as the original. So I'm happy with the carb, and we're going to go ahead and install it and see how it performs. I was happy to report that it finally started right up. First time, idled great, right on its own, held its own idle. So it's time to go ahead and start putting the thing back together and take it for a test ride and see if it can handle any power at all. So the test ride was successful. It idled fine. It idled a little bit high, but other than that, it ran smooth. It didn't run super fast. I would have liked to see it run a little bit faster and with a little bit more power. So I decided to dig in and see what we could do. First off, I wanted to adjust down the idle a little bit. I thought it was going idling definitely a little bit too high, so that was my first step. I also noticed that it was smoking a lot, especially for just a 4-stroke motor. So I decided I should go ahead and check the oil, and I discovered it was definitely overfull. I just didn't know how much. So I got my suction and went ahead and started sucking out oil and just checking the level as I went. So definitely it was not only overfull, but it was also just really dirty. So I decided, what the heck, let's get all the oil out of the system. So I went and sucked everything out I could with a syringe. And what I couldn't suck out with a syringe, I decided to go ahead and take the oil plug out and just drain it entirely. I was happy to see that there were no metal filings or chunks of metal in the oil filter, so that was a good thing. So I went ahead and just cleaned it out a little bit and put it back in. So now I was able to just put fresh oil in the exact quantity that it required. I used Valvoline 10W40 and I topped it off to the exact right amount. Since I knew it was overfilled with oil, I thought it was a good idea to go ahead and replace the spark plug in case it was oil fouled. And so I went ahead and took that out and bought a brand new one and replaced it. The spark plug definitely was carbon fouled, and it also had no gap, like someone had smashed the electrode down. so it definitely needed to be replaced. I get this cylinder leakage test because I want to see if there's any leaks in the combustion, like maybe like a hole in the top of the piston or cracked valve, something along those lines. So I wanted just to rule that out because I still wasn't super happy with the way it's running. But as you can see, it actually held pressure perfectly fine. I didn't see any leaks. It was a little bit tricky because I had to hold it at top dead center because the pressure of the air was forcing the piston back down because it's such a small motor. So the next thing I wanted to test was the airbox. I had read online that there was a common problem with these Honda Metropolitans with a leak between the air filter and the airbox. And so I went ahead and took the airbox off and opened it up to take a look. And sure enough, there was some deformity right where the seal is for the air filter. So there definitely was air leakage around the air filter intake area. And so I went ahead and got my heat gun out and I reformed it and just to soften the plastic and bend it back in place, put the filter back on, put it back all together.
Cut the mirror off.
Having a new carburetor installed, adjusting it, repairing the leak in the airbox, testing the engine combustion chamber for mechanical damage, I decided to call it quits on the engine repair and enlist my son, who was eager to give me a hand with repairing the scooter. The mirror adjusters were stuck, so I put him to work with helping fix those. At the end of the day, I'm not totally satisfied with how it's running. I know the Metropolitan is a slow scooter, but I'm pretty sure I'm barely reaching 20 miles per hour, and these things should go around 30. My conclusion is that the jets in the carb are probably too small. So my next step, if I choose to pursue it, will be to replace the carburetor main jet for a slightly larger one. Until then, we will enjoy the scooter around the neighborhood as it is, or more than likely throw it back on Facebook for someone else to continue on with repairing or parting it out. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions about my repairs, put a comment below and I'll be sure to reply. I've also included links in the description for the spark plug and the carburetor that I purchased in case you want to buy those for your project.